Salutations, friends. That's a gay intro, but this is me, Vamp the Vampire. We are the Trigger Boys. We also have with us Loose for Lucy. We're going at Sonic speed here.
Oh shit. Hey everybody.
Holy shit. We also have with us Munzie.
Remember to stay hydrated.
Oh fuck.
PSA, baby. Take notes, kids. Take notes.
Whenever you drink, make sure you drink water so you don't get a hangover. It's really useful.
That's what the youth need to know today.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, I think a lot of people don't know that. To my understanding.
Yeah, I mean that's where
alcohol
hangovers come from.
Yep. Gotta drink your water. I always make sure I have water next to me when I'm fucking getting shit faced.
Water is the liquid of life, kids. Just drink all of it
Yes,
all the time.
it is.
All right, let's get into this episode. Let's get into the
This is a dense episode. This is a dense episode.
This is not a dense episode.
Lots of deep world building and
okay.
This is literally just a lore episode. I should make
that
like a
I like this episode. I'm gonna stand on that hill.
This was
I could die on that hill.
This was an all right app. Yeah.
Yeah, this episode's it's like a 7 out of 10 episode or something like that. Like a light 7 episode.
Yeah, I would say that too. It's welcome. It's very welcome, even though it's just like a lower episode. Like I said, it doesn't have
Vamp,
much variety.
What happens in this episode? I want to
mention
what happens.
That right at the beginning, there's a fight scene, just some random
totally
fight scene
forgot
as
about
usual. That. You know, literally just so when we come back to the episode, the kids are tired or whatever, and they react to it. But after the fight scene, after the opening song, there's this scene with the I forget what I keep calling them, but
the council
the
or whatever.
guys in the mask. Yeah, the council.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the fuck they are.
And they're dropping all these lore bombs on us, just out of nowhere.
Oh, I was on Twitter the entire time. I did not pay attention to this part of the episode at all. What I did pick up on was not interesting, generally.
Yeah. Like it's basically they talk about how they basically admit that the kids are bad soldiers, and
is that really?
And
what
they're
do?
we still need them, so
they say they're unique and can connect with each other more than other squads
right,
can.
We've established this already, that they're special snowflakes as a squad.
Oh yeah, it's just more reinforced now. It's literally just told to us, which is the funny part.
Great.
Yeah, and then they're we need to give the kids some sort of
reward,
so that they keep fighting for us.
They talk all spooky, oh my god, tangible rewards have been given, since the olden days, and it's worked. So let's keep doing it.
Yeah, it was a
quote,
big
unquote,
deal
bygone
for them.
error. So, yeah, of course the guy who says this in the council is a really seems like a midget, or is super old, possibly decrepit, even though we can't see his face, or any body part really. Next scene is basically Nana, the adult girl or whatever, adult woman, comes up and is hey kids, Papa wants to as they're getting out of their FranXX, Papa wants you guys to dress up and go to this official ceremony to get rewarded or whatever. You get to visit the city, guys. Isn't that cool?
They're all yeah.
Yup, they get excited. We get to go to the city, this ominous thing.
Which I would like to point out that what I would like to, why I would say I like this episode is, and why I would praise it, I guess, to some degree, or why I'm pointing out here is it's finally doing one of the things I've been begging this fucking show to do since we started the series, is they're actually giving us a chance to explore the world.
Yeah. Should have done this a long time ago, in my opinion.
Yeah, it took a long time series-wise for us to get here, and they take like a long time within the episode to build up to the scene where we actually get to start exploring like what this world is like, getting some nitty-gritty here. But it does happen. It does happen, and that's the important part.
All right. I want to mention real quick in this scene that like it's quote unquote revealed that like like 02 is like thinking about something. It's never revealed what she's thinking about. It's like, oh guys, this
She's
is gonna
real
come next
moody.
episode. But she like just seems like kind of depressed and like maybe possibly nihilistic, but we don't know what she's thinking about, so we can't really know. And it's very frustrating for me.
Well, I think she just knows that it's all like bullshit. She can like see through everything and just like, you don't need a reward. We are just parasites. We're just here to fight. Either do that or like fucking get like fuck off. Like these rewards are all bullshit. And I guess like she like I don't know what her motivation is if that's the case for like staying quiet. That seems like unlike her, but I don't know. Maybe she's depressed about something. I don't know.
Yeah, why I'm mentioning it right away is that like, what's so weird about this scene is that like she's like sitting in the mech, not getting out for a minute. She's kind of sitting there and thinking. And by this point, Nana hasn't announced that they're gonna be rewarded with going to the city or anything like that.
So it could be something different.
So it's implied that something different by that scene. But obviously later on, she's also like kind of woke to the idea of like the reward just being kind of like, for them being parasites, and it's like kind of stupid and retarded. So she's like woke,
Which,
but like, it's I want to know what's happening with 02. Goddamn it!
It turns out to be accurate because I think it was Goro. Like the parasites themselves point out after the ceremony, they're like, "Ah, that was it. That was kind of lame."
Yeah.
They literally
the fat kid was
them...
like, "I was expecting a feast." And, they're
so was I, buddy. So was I.
Yeah, because for me, I was like, we were going to the city. I was like, "Oh fuck, they're gonna like give them some money to run around the shops, and we'll learn about the world or something." And they just take him to a room, and there's people in stupid-looking costumes that like refuse to shake the kid's fucking hand. They're just like, "You did a good job."
Well,
we
learn why he can't shake their hand later in the episode. It's because they're supposedly infected.
Oh,
remember when
yeah.
Remember when he's getting like scanned?
Lucy.
No, shut up, fucking.
All right, go on, Muncie.
That was not a fucking phone thing.
Yeah, like when they're like scanning him after like when he gets picked up by the city peeps to go return to the place in the place.
Yeah. Quickly before we get to that scene,
yeah, that's the
I
end
want
of
to
the
frame
episode.
this for the audience. Like, literally the kids like they bring them basically straight to this building or room, whatever. That kind of just looks like a reception room, to be honest. And then they're like, this guy that's like all the adults are like masked or whatever, so you can't really see like their eyes or anything. You see their mouth and nose.
Yeah, I don't understand why those masks are a thing, because they can't see out of it.
That's what I was thinking the whole time.
Yeah, it's just like
and it seems we learn later on that that's not a ceremonial thing. They just wear those around.
Yeah, I think everyone just hates each other and doesn't want to deal with each other.
I don't
that
know
might be the case, I
why.
don't know.
Because I mean, we'll get into these new like dystopian like Brave New World type shit.
Yeah,
later.
I think it might be symbolic.
But like, I don't know. That is just a really weird thing that they've done from the start, and it's never like been explained. Very strange. And then like the fact that like apparently it's not that serious because this woman just like randomly revealed her face to Zoromi.
Yeah, it's not that serious. Yeah,
like
sure.
It's just like weird that they do it at all.
But we'll get into that when we get there.
Yeah, so like this scene with the kids going into this basically reception center and being like congratulated, and then they're basically just like done with the city. They go back, and the kids are like,
Yep.
"Yo, we gotta walk back, dude." And then somehow
they want to walk back, and Shota Boy fucks off. Falls off
gets
a
lost.
building.
Yeah,
he falls off a building, and he gets picked up by a girl and taken back to her apartment to be healed up.
Yeah,
this is where we get into the meat of the episode.
Oh yeah, this is where the beauty ends.
Deep shit.
deep shit.
Oh God.
Mhm.
So, there's a lot to cover here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of stuff
What
happens in this
happened,
apartment.
Lucy? Why don't you tell everybody what happened?
Oh, I don't
in this
know.
part?
Vamp can answer that question. No, Vamp's the fucking host. That's not my responsibility.
Well,
Vamp, what happens in
sometimes-
the apartment?
All right. So what happens in the apartment is, obviously after Shota Boy waking up after like going unconscious and this woman like, saving him, and bringing him back to the apartment and healing him and whatnot, like, he is obviously confused. He gets up and he's like, "Yo, what's happening?" And so like they talk for like a minute, and then like, it's very like surface level conversation, and Shota Boy is like, kind of like this woman, this one adult is showing me kindness even though the rest haven't, because before he was like wandering and lost, he was like, he screamed out to an adult, and the adult like literally walked away,
Yeah.
like ignored
And,
him.
I think that why that happened is because of something that gets touched on later, which is I'm just gonna come out and say it, if you don't mind,
Yeah, go
Vamp,
ahead.
even though we're kind of jumping ahead. This is his mom that he runs into.
Wait,
Yeah,
I'm-
it's kind of alluded
is
pretty
it
to
his mom?
Yes.
Is that like confirmed canon?
Because what happens?
I don't think it's confirmed canon
Is
yet.
it's not confirmed. It's heavily alluded to. They have the same eye color. The show dwells on this idea. The two characters talk about how they feel like they have a connection to each other. He
With some
he says he feels like
familiarity,
somebody's been
yeah.
watching over him, and we in the middle of this have flashbacks to Shota Boy being dropped off at the orphanage.
Yeah, that's like some gay shit. I don't like that.
Yeah, I liked it significantly less. I was like, I picked up on it. I was like, oh, that's a thing. I also thought it was kind of dumb that this idea that the show presents where the mother like revealing her face, and like why she decided to help him out at all is because of like a motherly instinct that she somehow has despite not knowing that this is her son.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't seem possible to me that
Hopefully.
she would somehow magically.
Well, it
have her
it
motherly
heavily
instinct
alludes to the
kick
fact
in.
that like they know each other, or like that like she's aware of like who he is, like, and he's like, I
Yeah.
feel like I have this connection. She's like, must be a mistake. Ha ha ha. I don't know who you are.
Oh, yeah.
You think she was like fucking with him, or something like that? Like she actually did know and she wasn't telling him.
Like, cause she wasn't allowed to or something.
That's possible.
Like, that's what I kind
very,
of got
very
from it. That
possible.
like she was like kind of like had to like lie to him about some shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's there at some point, I'm jumping ahead at this point. Like towards when Shota Boy's leaving his house, getting taken away, or just before that, like there's a scene where she's the granny ma or whatever, the mom was about to say like, hey, you can't, like, Shota Boy wanted. He asked the woman if like he could stay over, like be a family with her at some point, as like
She's like, nah, fuck
a
off.
wholesome way, and she's just like a no because of ... She didn't get to finish her sentence because the guys barged into the house or whatever.
Yeah, that felt like a fucking rip off to me.
Yeah.
It was, because we know this information is just gonna get revealed later. That like they're maybe the kids are just gonna die at a young age just because of like how they were born.
Well, we
or
already
something.
know that like they're gonna fucking die. And like the fact that the kids
But, I
don't know is
mean-
like kind of BS. Like, I mean, I guess not. I guess you don't want them to know.
Yeah,
but,
it
like,
might just be from
the
like,
fact
war
that that
deaths in
information
battle,
is
but-
able to be
yeah.
revealed to them at all is like kind of crazy to me. Like,
Mhm.
like they're talking about the kid like, oh, it's such a terrible tragedy that these parasites exist or whatever. Like when they come and pick him up, like, they're telling him right to his face, and he's just supposed to like brush it off. Like, what a dick move. Like, what a douchebag character.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
To be like,
sensitive.
oh yeah, your existence is so sad. Like, what? What a douche.
Yeah, so it's like maybe it's their fate that they're gonna face, and all that stuff, and also like the adults here seem to have like Matrix like perfect lives, where like this woman, her husband, like she shows Shota Boy that like he's in this like
That is
pod
some
or
Brave
whatever.
New World shit.
Oh yeah.
This reminded me of a movie that me and Munzie watched recently for Taupe, which was what was it called? Actually, it was the old man one.
Oh,
Rojan
Rojan
Z.
Z.
Yeah,
This is
'cause
no.
he was
This
sitting
is
in
the
a
straight up
Rojan
Brave New
Z-esque
World.
coffin
Like
thing.
Rojan Z is like different. This is straight up Brave New World. Brave New World being the Aldous Huxley novel from like 1932, where people like
Damn, that's
take a
old.
drug called Soma that just literally makes them happy, and so they don't need to like worry about the problems, like the fact that like that the government just like euthanizes like all old people at like a certain age, and like it's like it also like Psychopaths kind of stuff would be like like another comparable like anime to this, because in Psychopaths they basically like the civil system makes their lives so easy they don't have anything to worry about, they don't complain about anything. So
Hey,
those are like
well, you know,
all brave, all
utili-
inspired from that kind of Brave New World.
utilitarianism justifies it, so it must be okay.
I mean, yeah,
Uh,
that's kind of the point. But and I imagine there's a similar thing going on here. And it's like why like he's happy and like clearly the woman's like okay with it. It's like why I don't have anything to worry about. Like I feel content.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, she describes their relationship as a convenience, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, okay, like, maybe they get, like, a bigger apartment or something.
She literally
living
just
together.
like explains to this kid that they only stay together because of like the social structure of heteronormativity, which was fucking hilarious to me.
Well, she also says that it's like an
totally
ancient.
pointless.
She also says it's like an outdated practice. Like it's an old like thing that like they don't do anymore, I guess.
No,
Like she said that they're
she said
practicing
that
an
they
old
did still do it.
tradition, or at least like maybe it's like old tradition to the kid because like he can't do that or something.
Yeah, wasn't that in description of, you know, Shota Boy having the partner of, you know, having, like, a partner in a romantic way, I guess.
I don't know if
something. It was something
I mean,
about
it's
partners.
also like I think romance is off the table in the case of these
Yeah,
civilian partnerships and in the FranXX partnerships, just because like 0-2 and Hero's relationship is like the exception,
Mhm.
you know.
Oh yeah. So
Oh,
yeah.
anyways,
It's pretty cool. It was just pretty interesting, you know, to see like basically like everyone living in their own like I guess pods. I don't know if it's a simulation, but they literally get chemicals put into their brain, you know, to make them
Yeah.
happy.
Right.
He's getting his dose of
and I-
happiness, which is just like in Brave New World, people just like take Soma. Like, oh, you're feeling sad? Here, have some Soma. You'll feel happy again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
what I
wanna
did
I just
think
wanted
was
to mention
actually-
that in specific, just because we kind of just went on that tangent of Brave New World without actually saying the specifics of the show.
Yeah.
he just sits in a fucking coffin and gets a tube put in him, and then he was smiling at the camera.
It looks so sad, and I guess it was supposed to be more impactful than it was.
It's
But, I
it's
don't think
it was
it's
sad.
meant to be. So like that is like the thing about like something like Brave New World is that if it is executed flawlessly, then it's perceived to have no problem with it. And we've talked about this just on our own before a lot.
Oh.
I remember, but so the problem with like Brave New World though is that you have this, but like to us it seems really fucked up because like people like lose a lot of the agency that they have because of it. But like
Yeah.
but
that
people
old
don't
guy or
understand is, like
whatever is just
in
fine.
universe, like this is like normal for them. Like they don't understand that like anything like different happens, and so like they are just happy. So like I would say it's like, oh yeah, if you don't feel pain, then
Yeah, I
or,
mean,
like,
the scene was
not
very,
only do
like,
you not feel pain, but
neutral,
you are
I do have
experiencing
to say,
happiness, like,
Shota Boy
you're doing
was
good.
like, yeah, like Shota Boy was like pretty like unenthusiastic of understanding this idea or accepting it as like a good or like good thing, you know. So it's just like, okay, the lady was like pretty neutral about it, and clearly the guy was happy, but then we had Shota Boy like neutral to like sad with it. So it was just like I didn't know how to feel in that scene. Clearly, to me in my society, it's gonna make me sad. But yeah, them in universe, definitely like take it like in their own different ways.
But I don't like
So
it's like I don't know here like how it actually applies because like I don't know what the fucking world is like here. Like we just had this like little explanation.
Yeah, it's
right.
we get to see into this like household, I guess, and not anything outside its household or any other households. So it's like we get very limited perspective into this world, which I do have to say is kind of cool seeing through this household, but it's not enough, honestly.
So something that I was trying to say is, at the like happy drug scene, I think there is something that was subtle. I think it was subtle, but I think it spoke to not only like the use of the happy drug, but it also spoke to the relationship a bit more, and that's why I wanted to talk about it because I also think that it's like one of the reasons why this is a good episode. Is while this woman's husband was taking happy drugs, what happens? She collapses, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then she has to bring herself over to the couch so she can rest because she's fatigued for not speaking for so long. So I thought that was interesting because we get to see that this happiness drug is and their relationship leads to like they're happy, but the mutual like support is lost in this relationship. Because in a very real way, we get to see this woman's in help and her husband's not there to help her. This woman needs help. Husband's not there to help her because he's off, taking these like happiness drugs.
Well, I don't
right?
I don't know if these drugs cause these people to like deteriorate or if this guy is like
It just
already on his
happened over
deathbed and is
time.
now just taking these drugs, but that's still an interesting like thing that could like be happening. Of course.
No, that's I'm not necessarily saying that that the drugs were like the cause for her collapse or anything. I was saying that because he was in this tank doing these happy drugs, he wasn't there to help out his wife or his partner when she collapsed right next to him, right? And I think that just spoke to the distance and like the lack of mutual support that's in this relationship. Which is like it's subtle, but it speaks to this relationship being like one might say hollow. It lacks this mutual support, this very important element of like the relationships that we have today, and how this fictional relationship in Darling in the Franxx is like a mere representation. It's simply upholding the tradition of a heteronormative relationship, but without actually reaping any of the benefits.
Yeah.
Because like the communication and the mutual support just isn't there.
Oh yeah. I wish I would have known like why do they occupy the same space? Is that just because like some law like has like it wants so many people in a house, so it's not like one person per house taking up too much room?
She says it's just because of tradition.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that really covers most of like the scene with the lady and Shota Boy. I love how his name is just Shota Boy. I love how
he called himself Zotome. We also see that it's really funny that like she didn't like think it like recognize that he has a name either.
Yeah,
she also knew his code, which is like kind of a good hint that like she's his mom, to be honest. That like she knew his code, and he was like, "How did you know that? Did I mention it?" And he didn't.
Isn't his code 666?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
The number
Holy
of the
shit.
beast.
He is the beast. Shota Boy, the smallest one of them all, is our god.
Shota Boy's metal is shit, dude.
Yeah. So, like, there was a little discussion, actually going back to that scene with the lady, about like the nature of like relationships and Zota. I was gonna say Zota Boy, Shota Boy. Like was describing his relationship with his partner, and they were like, "Oh yeah, she constantly argues, and like, but like I don't mind her. She's cool, She's sometimes cute, when she's not like being a bitch."
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah, I
like,
thought that was
you know, as
kinda
long as it's not a
whatever.
problem, that relationship's okay. That's what she's told Shota Boy.
Yeah, that was like a kind
Which
of
I
a
found that
weird
interesting.
interaction when she was like, he was like, I don't like my partner, and then she's like, well, you shouldn't be together. And then he has this like moment, you see it in his face, he has like this moment, and he's like, well, it's not that bad. And then she's like, oh, then it's fine. I was like, what was the point of this scene?
Oh yeah.
Like, it just kind of takes a 180. Very strange scene.
I mean, it does let him realize that he's like just bitching for the sake of it, and he actually does value the relationship.
Oh yeah.
I think
And it
that's the
also says
idea.
that like, you know, this like, I mean, I guess it's like a normal thing that like obviously if relationship's bad you should cut it off, but I found it to be like from said by this like lady to be like very like utilitarian and like prioritize pleasure over like, you know, human interaction in general, you know.
Mm.
Hell yeah, I'm down.
Very
I mean, yeah.
hedonistic.
I just felt like in context it was kind of weird because they're like assigned to each other like by their commanders, and it's for like military purposes.
Yeah,
you know,
like-
I feel like it's a bit more complex. You can't just
I mean,
break up with your FranXX partner.
I've kind of come to terms with like the fact that like the whole like FranXX system is just like fucked and stupid.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
So like I've kind of made concessions to stop complaining about that.
Yeah, the really with the yeah, it has. You're totally right. It's been made very clear indirectly that military. The military gets no consideration here, right? What the military has to say, or anything being for military purposes, is just a total facade. Because on the meta writing level, it's all just been fucked.
Yeah,
yeah.
so like I just kind of accepted that, and
Yeah.
you can just fuck off with that forever.
And that's one of the elements of this episode where I can't enjoy it because it's been tied into such a piece of fucking hot garbage, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like there's so many things here that I feel like I could really enjoy this episode if it was a part of a larger series that I thought was good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
I thought
is
this episode
another
was very
aspect of-
decent, and like it was good for FranXX,
Yeah, it was very good for FranXX, I felt.
but it's still
Yeah,
not like
like-
nothing incredible.
Yeah, like I
Yep.
was about to say that like I think this is just another one of these things with FranXX where it, like doesn't go far enough with what it's trying to do. Like it pulls its punch back way too early. Like it's like, okay, the comedy doesn't go as hard as it should. The fan service doesn't go as hard as you'd imagine. Plot doesn't actually go anywhere at any decent speed. And it's like, oh, when they actually try world building for once, they don't go as far as you'd like. It could have been much more of a concise episode.
Thanks, A1, because that's an A1 thing.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I've also like come to terms with the fact that like I'm just not gonna talk about the studios that make this because, frankly, we don't know like enough about like who did what at this moment to be able to like say like what studios did what. And I know I made my big rant video like conspiracy theory, like A1 is fucking everything up video, or like right after the first episode came out. But like, it's really just, it's not worth it. Like.
Yeah.
Too many people complain. Too many people want to like defend A1. Too many people want to defend Trigger. Too many people want to defend FranXX. And there really isn't enough information for any of us to say like who did what. It's just because like to me, I want to blame A1 because Trigger has yet to fail me, and I don't want them to fail me again. Even though they clearly play some part in this, you know.
All right. You can remain neutral in the matter, but I'm confident enough that pulling punches and not leaning into the strengths of a story is pretty definitively an A1 style thing and not really
I don't know if
Trigger's
it's
playbook
either,
at all.
to be honest. But
What'd you say, Vamp?
I don't know if it's either, to be honest. Like I can't think of this as like an A1 thing. I really don't. Like I've watched probably the most A1 shows out of all of us here, and like either like a show's like just a cute like show like Blend S, where it's just like it's just cute and it does it what it wants specifically. SAO wasn't like, it didn't pull punches or anything. It went at an actually decent rate in terms of plot. I don't know if it like pulled like it was supposed what it was supposed to be. They never pulled a punch on any of like the main things I'm thinking about.
I think it's like I mean it could be like, cause like you just we don't know like how much like, because the writer is like a Trigger guy, but like the guy that made this is like a Trigger boy, like he's a Trigger boy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes,
it's strange because I just don't know like how much like A1 has like influence over the writing. I just don't, we don't know, like we don't know, and so
yeah, like,
I don't want to like, because it is this weird mixture of styles that like doesn't work, and it could just be the fact that they're mixing styles and that is what doesn't work.
Oh yeah, they could just maybe not be on the same page, or the styles just don't blend well. I don't know, but I remember mentioning at some point that like I heard somewhere. I really do need to research this just so I can be like more informed here on this podcast. But like I remember hearing that like the director, this was like his passion project idea, and like I guess like Trigger's like hell, and he's like an A1 guy, I think.
I thought he was I thought he was like a Trigger guy, but like maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, but like the director is just like, oh yeah, this is like my passion project or something, and so like maybe it's just him, you know, fucking up here. I don't know. Yeah. But
just this one fucking like really crazy director guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's where I'm coming from. I just can't really like point any fingers right now. If anything, it's like maybe the director, but I didn't even research this, so it might not even be that.
Yeah, I know it's a passion project. I know that like the guy that's writing it is like a passion project. Like he was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. So like, yeah, it's just didn't turn out good, buddy. Sorry. Like, but I think we're just going on like kind of a shit talking the show for the sake of shit talking tangent.
I don't know.
Is there anything left in the episode that we need to talk about? Anything else happen?
Okay. What happens after they recollect Shota Boy? Anything interesting? No.
Miku like
uses about his mom
gets
and
mad.
they clean a bathroom.
Yeah, he has a cute interaction, I guess, with Pigtail Girl, and then we see a shot of 02 like looking in the mirror and like opening up her mouth with her fingers and like seeing that her fangs are like big, whereas like she probably wouldn't have big fangs when she's not in like demon mode or something, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I mean, mode. I'd like to say that it's her like reflecting on her, whether or not she's a monster, but as we've talked about, like her actual inner turmoils and her motivations are pretty unclear, like exactly what level they're at or what we're supposed to be really focusing on. She's kind of a clusterfuck, so I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, it's very unclear. So that's basically where the episode ends off. We got this new ending theme where it's like all the girls are in like these white like nightgowns.
Wasn't that last episode's ending theme as well?
Yeah, I was gonna say
it's been
it's been the last 2 episodes. Because I remember last episode, Munzie was like, "We got a new fucking ending an ending theme," and I was like, "No," but I didn't say anything about it. So I'm pretty damn sure that this is the 3rd time that we've said that this is a new ending theme.
Oh.
When it's the same ending theme every time. I might be wrong.
Well, it's because I missed the original and the first ending theme, which was like the best one so far.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
When I said like new ending theme, I really meant it as like, you know, like not the one that we all loved with like the street outfits.
Right. Yeah, we got this. Sure. You want to talk about?
You
want to talk about this?
Leave
half
it to
of the
Darling
season's
in the
ending
Franks
theme? Go ahead and talk
to
about.
take away like the only thing I liked about the show.
I watched all the episodes just for the ending theme, guys. I actually liked.
Not even.
But I just want to say overall, I did like this episode. I think this episode for me on this podcast was I was mostly discussing things in like a neutral way. There's not many like complaining. There was some like and there's some stuff that was like I'm genuinely kind of interested in this. I wish they gave us a little bit more to work with, and like know and learn about. But I would say just like at the beginning of this episode, I would say this is like a 7 out of 10 episode.
Yeah, I definitely have to say like I didn't like it as much, and this I think for me comes from the fact that I have like a relatively long history with like dystopian worlds and like dystopian ideas, so like having a like this like Brave New World stuff, it's just like when it's not flushed out in a lot of detail and it's not explored in like a new or interesting way, it just like seems pretty baseless to me because I've already experienced it. I've already seen it a lot of times in different settings, explored different ways. So like just these kind of like shitty sci-fi world settings is just like it's just like nothing. It never gets interesting to me anymore.
My criticism of that is the Brave New World stuff is not new. But what I felt like this dystopia was really focusing on was this sort of
interpersonal
like this
dissonance.
These relationships and the specific properties of them being sort of like connectionless, which I haven't seen done before to my memory. Where?
In the book The Giver, that's like the first place I really saw like. Which is a pretty old. I think it's from like the 90s. It's like this old book where like everyone's like living situations like forced, kind of like more like Psychopaths kind of stuff with like everyone's living situations are kind of decided for them and everyone's like okay with it until like someone finds a hole in the system.
Maybe I actually now that you bring it up, maybe I did read a book that involved
Psychopaths has like explored all these ideas just like way better.
Well, the thing with Psychopaths, I don't think really explores the ideas of like relationships.
It's not in a familial sense like this, but it's still like this kind of like forced thing. Like the familiar aspect is definitely explored in The Giver, but
yeah. Well, I mean, I think the general theme of like the state having control over X aspect of the civilian's life is like pretty inherent to the dystopian genre.
Yeah. It's more like it's like the like it's why I say like Brave New World because like people are okay with it. Where like and the big comparison you see a lot of time with like dystopian is like Brave New World versus like 1984, whereas like Brave New World is like you do what the government tells you because you have no like you're too content with your life to go against it, whereas like Big Brother is always watching is just like you're too scared to do anything against it. And it's like two different takes in this on like the same like two different causes for the same effect, which is that people obey.
Yeah, and you know what the best part is, Munzie? You take those two things and you mash them together and you get America. So there we go.
Hell yeah.
That's my
land
America
that I love. But that's
land of the free within reason, quote unquote.
Land of the free asterisk.
Free but not.
We're gonna get some. We'll save that for the America cast. You know.
Burn the state.
So
the America cast. The cast
and Lucy, did we all say our thoughts on this episode? Are we wrapping things up?
I would say we're wrapping up, and it's about time for us to say goodbye.
Yeah, I got nothing left. This is an episode. All right, I got nothing more.
All right, folks. See you later. Thanks for watching.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Burn the state. Bye.